Hello and welcome back to my channel. I've decided to try something new. I've been really into this idea of what the feeling would be if you read an author's books back to back to back and not necessarily in a series. I think the main idea, the reason this sparked is because I feel like every author has a different style generally, or a different voice, and sometimes it fluctuates between books and sometimes it's pretty consistent, and every time you read the book you know it's this author. And I kind of wanted to see if I did that with different authors, if I would get tired of it, if I would really get drawn into it, how that would take to me. So I think this is going to be like a little series on the channel, but I'm starting with Rebecca Serle. She's the author of In 5 Years, One Italian Summer, Expiration Dates, The Dinner List, and all of her books essentially have like very interesting concepts that spiral into really meaningful stories. I've only actually read one. It was Expiration Dates. I got it as an ARC I think a year or 2 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. And it was about like a girl who got an expiration date whenever she met a guy that basically like told her when it was going to end, when the relationship, if that makes sense. So, and I love that book. I thought it was super interesting. So I'm excited to see how these books hold up. Yeah, I'm just excited. And that's the plot. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on with that. I'm also going to Florida, so it's going to be a little bit of a trip, book, fun little moment. Hey guys, I'm tuning in from a new location. It is the beach, Seagull, if you saw that. And I have decided to read oh my god, there's a sequel. Okay, I decided to read The Dinner List first, mainly because it was the first one that got published, and I think I'm gonna do them in publication order, because then I can kind of see also how she like develops her writing, I guess. So all I really know about the book is it's about like that classic question of if you could invite anyone dead or alive to dinner, who would you invite? And yeah, she has that dinner, she makes a dinner list, invites those people, and they have a dinner. I haven't read it yet, I haven't started, but that's the general plot, I guess. Okay, so there's a slight change of plans, and I didn't actually start reading on the beach. I only just like actually opened the book, and my truth is I almost started crying like because of the dedication. And the dedication is from my grandmother Sylvia Pessin, who taught me that first, baby, you gotta love yourself, and for her Sam, the first person on my list. Like, it just like makes me like, it's clearly her grandmother's, I'm assuming, husband, or grandfather that she probably never met. And yeah, like I'm just already like thinking about those people that you've heard about your entire life that you were never able to meet because they passed away before you had the chance to meet them or had the ability to remember them. And like, that's literally the dedication. Like, I haven't even started the book. Like, literally I'm about to open up page 1. Like, that is crazy, but I'm like really excited. Like, I have such high expectations for this idea that I really hope it plays out, but I guess we'll see. Okay, so I'm back, and I definitely have some updates. The first and foremost is that I had to leave the pool today because I was literally crying.
Are you joking?
From this book.
Are you filming?
I had to leave the pool today because I was literally crying, and I didn't want people to perceive me. But the twist I just received in this book, I sat bolt upright, and was like, what the actual hell just happened? I'm like, the twist I just received, I was not expecting at all. It came completely out of the blue, came completely out of nowhere, no warning at all. And we're supposed to go out right now. And I'm gonna be thinking about this the whole night. This is crazy. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it. Okay, I have my retainer in, so I might have a little bit of a lisp, but this book is taking such a turn for the worst, honestly. I was reading this the first like half, and I was like, whoa, I'm loving this. Might be a 5-star. I thought it was so good. And something happened about midway where I'm finding the main character insufferable, the couple kind of insufferable. I'm really hating the guy, like the love interest, I guess. I don't even know if it's a love interest. I'm gonna keep reading, but it's really like, if there was a graph, it would have been like, and I'm worried it's gonna keep dropping. I'm hoping there's like more to this, but I'm just finding myself being like, oh no. Like, I'm picking it up and I'm like, So I don't know. We will definitely see where this book's gonna go, but I'm getting really, like, upset because I love the beginning. I thought there are so many good quotes in here. There are so many good comments on life and love and loss. And there's a big twist, that twist that I reacted to, and then everything from then on, I feel like, just is starting to ruin it for me. But we'll see if it takes a turn, maybe for the worst, and then this, or for the better, and this is all, like, development. I'll let you know.
A few moments later.
So, I get it. Like, I get why it was meant to be frustrating. And, yeah. Oh my god, I'm gonna start crying. I'm gonna finish, I have one chapter left, but I understand. And, yeah, I'm gonna finish. And then tomorrow, I'll give you all my thoughts. I'm probably gonna shed a few more tears. Yeah. Yeah, so I finished the book. Yeah, it was not kind whatsoever. At all, actually. I need to sit on my thoughts and, oh my god, and I will record and write my review tomorrow. Yeah, I just, yeah, if I talk about it, I'm gonna start crying again, so. Hello. So I am tuning in from my deck because it's 72 degrees outside today. And it's supposed to go back into the 30s next week, so I don't know why it's this nice. It was also super nice yesterday, but I've been thriving, taking it in, so I'm sitting outside, getting fresh air, whatever. And I feel like now's the time to kind of talk about my thoughts on the dinner list. And here's what I think. I think that I love this book. It came out super strong. I loved the concept. I loved the idea. I was so into what was going on. And I really liked the cast of characters that were chosen. And I think that, as you guys saw halfway through, after this big twist that literally shocked me to no end. Oh my god, what is going on with my eyes? Whatever. So after this big twist, I realized that I wasn't really liking it as much. But it took, I think, like 30 more pages for me to realize the thing that I didn't like about it was very purposeful. And then in retrospect, it gave me a lot of appreciation, because I think part of what I didn't like is the conflicts between the two characters kind of felt like it was the same thing. Like, I understand the issue, but I think that was part of the commentary, was that sometimes you can love someone with your whole heart and you guys just aren't compatible for one reason or another, but you love them so much you don't want to accept that. So you can try to hide away, but in the real world, your relationship just doesn't hold up because you just are too different of people. And I think that in real relationships, it takes multiple times of this same issue, the same incompatibility to show itself before a couple calls it quits. And I think that that's kind of where the redundancy came from, but I do think it was necessary to give that message. And I think that that was really well done. I think the whole book really talks about coming to closure for different relationships, whether it be like family or friends that sort of drift apart, but there's a lot of love there, or this couple, and how much like love isn't so cut and dry. Like, sometimes, I think sometimes in our generation we like to say like love is always 50-50, love should always be 50-50, but I think in real relationships that's not true. Sometimes I think average should be like 50-50, but sometimes one person's gonna put in 90, the other person 10. Sometimes the other person's gonna need to put in 70, the other person 30. That's just the reality, because people have other things going on. And I think like that holds true to all friendships and love and relationships. And I don't know, I just thought this book had so much good commentary on all these different forms of love, on life, on everything. There's so many good quotes in there. I really recommend. I gave it 5 stars. And I like think about it. Like, I've been thinking about it since I finished it, which was a few days ago. And I'm going to keep thinking about it because I just, yeah, it really, there's parts of the book that really stuck with me. And I think that like all of us, at least in one of those types of relationships, might be able to see ourselves in. And I really appreciated that and thought it was very well done. Hello. Okay, so basically we're moving on to the next book, which I have decided to pick up. I've decided I'm actually not going to do it in publication order, just because the Kindle version of this was like, I got it on Libby, and so I like to be able to read it physical and on my Kindle and whatever. And so because I have it on my Kindle, I'm just gonna read this one first because I'm still waiting for the other book to get through. So I'm gonna read One Italian Summer by Rebecca Serle. I don't know much about the plot. Basically, yeah, so she goes to Italy, which is, I think, where her mom studied abroad. And basically she stumbles upon her mother. I don't know if it's her real mother. I don't know if it's someone who looks like her mother. I don't know that situation. Why is one side of my eyelashes curled and the other one's not? Okay, whatever. And then she basically like learns, it says reconcile her mom with the woman she was. And I think it's kind of like understand who your mom is versus who she was when she was younger. And I think it's going to be kind of maybe about the fact that our parents are just people, but, or our, that like quote that's like, our parents are living this life for the first time too. But I don't know. I honestly have no idea. That's basically all I know about it. I'm really excited, but I feel like I can't read this book in public because I just, anything about grief and parents will get me sobbing immediately just by the mention of it. So I don't really know how I'm going to be able to read this book in not my own room, but we'll find out. Worst case, I cry in public, which wouldn't be the first time. Okay, so I'm about halfway through An Italian Summer, and I'm not enjoying it actually at all, which is kind of disappointing. I felt like the premise was something that I was really going to like and was going to make me cry a lot and was really going to get me there. But the premise feels like it was just made as a premise, and the book isn't actually going to touch on it basically at all. I felt like so far, I just feel as if we're more focusing on her like traveling through Positano, traveling through Italy, having experiences, seeing beautiful places, and less so on her grief, except it's kind of like randomly thrown in there and there's not really much development. It also, like, Rebecca Serle, I've learned, has this sort of thing where she'll be talking about something and then that will spark a memory for the main character, throw them back, whatever. But I just feel like the memories we're recalling aren't really having any impact. And I just feel like grief was supposed to be the whole thing, but besides telling us that she's grieving, we're not seeing any development or growth in that case. I also will say there is a trope here, and I don't think it's a spoiler because it happens pretty much immediately. It's like a cheating situation for so much of the book. So far, she has been cheating with no justification. And I personally, like, I didn't know this was really going to be in the book, and I'm not a big fan of it. I'm especially not a big fan when it's like, I'm going through a midlife crisis, and because I'm going through a crisis, I'm going to cheat. Like, what do you mean? Like, being in a crisis does not justify cheating, and you don't need to cheat to, like, learn to appreciate your husband, which is where I think this is going. Like, so far, I'm just not enjoying it at all, honestly. Like, even the parts that I should enjoy, I find boring, and the interesting parts I find bad. So we'll see. That's my update. Hello. I'm back and better than ever. And I have decided to give One Italian Summer 2 stars. And honestly, I didn't like it. And wait, I have an imprint on my face. Okay, we'll figure that out later. Basically, yeah, I did not like it at all. Why did I not like it? I just felt like, one, I was promised a super interesting idea, and I didn't get that. Like, to me, it felt like the author came up with a fun little prompt idea, started writing, couldn't really figure out what to do with it, and then decided to tell a completely different story, but knew that that story wasn't as interesting and people wouldn't really like it. So then they just kept the first idea a little bit in there to make the summary. I also felt like the twist was like stupid, honestly. Like, I was like, and what does this add? I didn't understand why it was there. It felt unnecessary and like it was just thrown in to maybe like have a touch of the shock factor, but instead I was just at that point I was so done with the book that I was just like, basically, I don't know if this whole book is basically about her having an affair, which is not what I was told was going to be about, and then basically none of it's resolved. None of it matters. This might be a spoiler, so skip forward 30 seconds, but basically the reason it doesn't matter is because it was in the past, I guess. She was in a different timeline. So now that she's back in the present, she just never tells her husband. She just never tells him. And she doesn't need to, because that was in a different timeline in the past, like 80 years ago, whatever, or 30. Like, I just, like, really, sorry, it doesn't even matter. I just really dislike this book, because I don't like cheating in my books. I don't like affairs in my book, and if it's done well, I can get over it, but I really don't like it when it was stupid. Like, the purpose of it was stupid. I didn't get why it needed to happen. I don't like this whole, like, I'm in an identity crisis, so I'm just gonna go sleep with another man, and then when I wake up, suddenly I'll love my husband again. Like, none of that made sense to me. Like, I just really didn't like it. 2 stars. I hope to not think about it ever again. So what I'm reading is that she basically gets sent in the future 5 years, and she's there for an hour, and she finds out that she's, like, with a different man than the man she's engaged to. I don't know what else. And then she, like, stumbles upon this guy, and then she goes back to the present day, and then she stumbles upon this guy. And I swear to God, I swear, if the plot of this book, let me throw this out, this is my theory, I haven't read it, but if the plot of this book is that she stalls because she thinks she's gonna end up with this guy, and then that's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, so she cheats on her fiance and her husband at the point, I don't know if they get married between the engagement, whatever, but sleeps with this guy, and that's the self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's why she found herself in the bedroom, because she did that to herself. I'm actually going to be so annoyed, because I simply cannot comprehend why it seems like these characters can only find their purpose in life by cheating on their significant other. The dinner list was not like that. So I hope that's not the case. I really hope that's not the case. In my book, it has, like, people's notes, and one person said, great twist, and another person said it was okay. So we'll see what I think. Okay, so first off, I'm sick, but I thought I'd share that I am literally on page 29. She gets engaged the night before, and then falls asleep, wakes up the next day, 5 years in the future, with this guy named Aaron. Her fiance's name is David. And you'll never guess what she does. She does, in fact, cheat on David in this 5-year future. And I get the idea is, like, oh, in this future, they've actually probably been dating, and that's why she's so attached to him and look at it. Literally, the entire time you spend in her mind, she's, like, thinking about David and her fiance, and how blah blah, and who's this guy, and blah blah, and then he kisses her and she just cheats. And I get that in this 5-year future, whatever, she's not actually with this guy, but she literally got engaged the night before. And something that really has been bothering me that was in the other book too is when they kiss, she does that thing where she's like, I've never felt like this before. Like, I've never had a kiss like this before. Like, that simply to me, like, does not need to be included, because when you include that, it makes me feel like your relationship with your husband is not, or your fiance is not, I don't know, whatever, I'm gonna keep reading, but I just, I didn't think it was gonna happen this fast. Like, page 29 is crazy. Okay, I'm so sorry and apologetic, but you're telling me that she spends literally, like, an hour in the future where all she does is freak out, eat pasta, and then sleep with this man, and that is enough to derail her entire life, her engagement. That is enough to derail her literal engagement, because she fell asleep and then had a vision that it's still not clear if it's a vision or a dream or whatever, of her sleeping with another. They probably shouldn't have gotten engaged in the first place if it was so fragile. Like, guys, I literally am like, I don't DNF books, but I just know that I'm not gonna like this already, and I feel like it's not even the author's fault. Like, the author's actually a really good writer. I like her writing. I just don't understand why this is a plot point. Why are these women cheating on their significant others? I think I'm just gonna push through, but, like, maybe it'll get better, because now she's back in the present, so she'll probably not cheat on him again, because there's no man to cheat on him with. Maybe. We'll see. I'm about 70-something% of my way through this book, and there's, like, this twist, and I have loved that. I think that that's really done well. I think it's very impactful, and I like seeing the journey, like, the twist that is included, I think is really, really done well. But once again, I still feel like she had a book she wanted to write, but didn't have an interesting enough hook, so she's throwing in this other side of things. Like, I don't know. And every time they try to circle back to this other thing that was the reason they, like, the whole, like, time travel thing or whatever, she saw the future, it ruins what's going on in the book. Like, I feel like the book would have been good if it just stood alone and more navigated this relationship between her best friend. I don't know. Whatever. So I'm interested to see what's happening. I'm assuming we end up somehow the vision that she saw of her life in 5 years is gonna happen. But I'm also like, it better not, given the information we have now or what we understand. I have one like theory as to how maybe it ends up there, but I don't know. I'm also like, there are just moments, I don't know. But I'm gonna finish the book and I'll get back to you when it's over. Okay, I finished In 5 Years by Rebecca Serle, and I gave it 1 star. 1. Just thinking about the book, like, it makes me mad. It makes me angry. Here's the thing, okay? The writing itself is good. Like, I can still say that I like Rebecca Serle as an author, okay? I do. It explores certain themes throughout the middle, like after the twist, that was actually done well. Like, I think the general story was done well, but the reason it's 1 star is because I have never read an ending that has made me so angry, so disgusted, so disappointed ever. Like, it just made me feel like, what was this all for? Why do we do this? I hate everyone here. And it was just like, I'm trying to be like nice. It was just awful. Yeah, I just hated the ending in a way that I can't even verbalize. I can't verbalize it without spoiling. So I'm going to just say what happens. And if you don't want to know what happens, you can skip forward to the time. I'll put a time on it. Now that it's just us. What do you mean? I am so sorry, but what do you mean this woman postpones her engagement for 4 years because she has a dream, a hallucination of what her life will be like in 5 years, where she sleeps with another man? And then, like, that whole plot was supposed to make sense. It was supposed to click for us. And I get that the underlying message is supposed to be like, oh, well, she realized she doesn't actually love him and she was waiting for 4 years. It took you 5 years to realize that? I'm just not present with that. I also feel like the entire time her husband was just the most beautiful, kind soul ever. And she said that she loved him and she said all these beautiful things about him. And then randomly she's like, meh. And then also her best friend, mind leaving as a boyfriend that you don't know, and the entire time, every time you see him, even though there's no romantic connection between you two and nothing really beautiful or romantic is going on, you're like, does he know that in my vision I slept with him? Does he know? Like, girl, are you for real right now? That's like the entire time I was like, are you for real right now? And then guys, I can't even with this part. So when she gets diagnosed with cancer, I was like, oh, okay, this will be done well. I convinced myself that what was going to happen was, because she had ovarian cancer, the main character, Danny, and this guy, Greg or whatever, were having sex in the hallucination because they were helping her best friend have a baby because she can't have babies anymore. That's what I convinced myself the ending was going to be, because it was the only one that like made it make sense to me in any way, and that like the emotion was like her feeling love and fulfillment for helping her best friend, which also doesn't make sense because I know there's other ways to do that. They don't actually have to have sex to get her pregnant, but that's not what happened. Okay, what happens? Guys, I'm actually so mad. I just cannot believe that the plot is her best friend, since for decades, gets cancer. And right before she dies, while she's dying, you find out that her best friend bought her $1 million apartment and decorated it and everything for her to show her that she should live life and whatever. And what does she do when she gets this gift? In the apartment, her best friend who is dying of cancer buys her. She kisses her best friend who is dying of cancer's fiance. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I literally just don't understand why that happened. I don't understand why that needed to happen. I don't understand how that made sense to anyone. I don't know how people read this book and are like, yeah, yes, she kissed her best friend dying of cancer's fiance. Like, and then they throw her a funeral. And what do they do after the funeral? Oh, that she dies, then they throw a funeral. They have sex with each other. she has sex with her best friend who just died of cancer from the funeral you came to's fiance. Oh, and she ends her engagement out of nowhere. And this poor guy is like, what the hell? I just can't even verbalize how insane and angry that makes me and made me, and I just can't even believe that was written on paper. And people were like, yep, print. But it's crazy because, again, the writing itself was fine. I just can't with an ending like that give it anything more than 1 star. I was gonna give it 2, but I just can't, because every time I think about the book, I get like actually heated, like actually mad. And if any of my friends told me they liked the book, I'd probably like yell at them, because what do you mean? And one of my friends really liked the book. She gave it 4.5 stars. Not I. Not me. Anyways, I'm sorry if that's harsh, but it's also the truth. So what's a girl to do? So basically, that's it. That's a wrap on my 3 books from Rebecca Serle. I found a new 5-star. I found a new 1 star. But I can say confidently that I do like the author, and I do think I'll keep buying her books. I like the prompts. I like that every book is kind of like formulaic, and you get started and there's a big twist and then you kind of see where it goes from there. Sometimes it does just feel like she has a prompt that she's trying to fill, but she wants to write a different story. Like, even in 5 years, it felt like she wanted to write a story about friendship, but she had to add in this prompt, and that's what kind of threw it off. And same with One Italian Summer. I felt like she wanted to write a story about relationships, love, and instead, because of the prompt, it also got thrown off a little bit. So I think it really just depends how she executes it. But in the dinner list, I thought that was super well done, because the story was built around the prompt instead of them trying to fill it in, if that makes sense. I think she's another book that is also like magical realism, so I'm excited to read. I would recommend you try her out. So a lot of people love her. The last 2 books did not show that. But again, I did love the first book, 5 stars. So that's really it. I think this was fun, like reading a bunch of books by a different author. And I do really think it's fun because I got to see her writing style, her formulas. Yeah, so I would recommend maybe doing that for yourself. But that's it for me. I'll see you on the flip side. Bye.